started playing Pokemon before they hit shinies, watching Nickelodeon and wishing they were slimy. Could somebody please give me a time machine and kind of rewinding?
Kahlie,
Oh, yeah?
we should do a 90s tag challenge while eating French Toast Crunch.
Yes.
Alright, so this is actually interesting because I never had French Toast Crunch back in the day.
He lived under a rock, I swear to God.
You're going to see a lot more of me living under a rock over the next couple of minutes in this video, but yeah. So this is going to be, you're going to see on film the first time ever that I'm going to be tasting French Toast Crunch.
This stuff, this is, yes.
Kahlie loved this. This was her favorite cereal.
Well, one of it. Pops is my all-time favorite.
All time.
But this is a close second. This stuff is good.
This was her favorite cereal that she couldn't have anymore until she now could. Let's see here.
Also, have you guys seen the box? Because the box is really awesome. On the back, it's all 90s stuff, which is real cool. I'm proud of them for coming back.
Alright, so here, live, on camera, in person. It's going to be the first time I'm ever going to taste French Toast Crunch. I don't feel under pressure at all.
Under pressure!
That's not 90s, it was 80s.
Under pressure?
Under pressure. Yes, but it was ruined in the 90s. It was ruined in the 90s by Vanilla Ice. I do know that much.
I was going back for seconds.
Really good.
Yes, I win, as usual.
I have to admit.
This video is going to be a lot of us crunching, isn't it?
It really does taste like French toast. I didn't think it could.
Mm-hmm.
In like a good way. Like
I don't even like French toast, but I like this.
It's delicious.
And they look like little breads.
And they do. It's adorable. Look at the little breads.
See, that's the one thing that makes me sad about cereal nowadays is back when we were kids, it was like cool stuff. Like Trix look like fruits. And now it's just stupid little balls. Nobody wants stupid little balls.
Nobody
especially in
wants
their
stupid
mouths.
Little balls. Yeah, Trick, get your balls out of our mouths. Alright. So, coming back for another tag challenge is Kahlie and Billy on the old couch in the old hotel in the old Philadelphia.
On our 2-year anniversary. Spending some time together. One part to me.
Okay. Alright, so thankfully there's no time limit with this one like there was with the last one.
That stressed me out so hard.
Okay. So let's just chat about the 90s then.
Okay.
Kahlie, in the 90s,
Billy, yes.
What was your favorite TV show?
Okay, before we start this, let me just say that in the 90s, we were both born in 1992, 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So, we were 7 the last year of the 90s.
It was we were actually both born the same year that both Power Rangers and Batman the Animated Series premiered.
The fact that you know that both annoys me and I find adorable. Most of our real childhood and like preteenhood was actually in the 2000s. So we're in this weird in-between state between the true 90s kids
and the
millennials. So I may confuse a lot of things that actually happened in the 2000s with the 90s. So please be patient with me and don't scream at either of us about the fact that this wasn't truly 90s.
It's YouTube, they'll do it.
I watched a lot of Toonami. Do you guys remember Toonami? Toonami was the thing. That was the best. I watched a lot of Sailor Moon, and when Sailor Moon got taken off, my friends and I think it was in 3rd grade, the 3 of us got together and thought we were going to save Sailor Moon by sending in what's it called? With all signatures?
Petition.
A petition to bring back Sailor Moon and taking pictures of us with all our Sailor Moon paraphernalia. We were real sad kids.
I have a similar story actually. My favorite TV show of all time in the 90s was Power Rangers in Space. Not Power Rangers as a whole, but Power Rangers in Space. Because it had the best story. And it was the first one I watched. And as opposed to every other one where they just were in the same city every week, they were in space They visited planets. That show scared the crap out of me with this one episode where they were all turning into crabs. And they had these surfboards that they could fly in space on. And the bad guys were like really actually complex and interesting. It reminded me of Star Wars because in the end the villain turned out to be the main hero's sister, and they had to try and turn her into a good guy instead of just killing her like the Power Rangers usually do with their villains. It was awesome. And then it ended. And Power Rangers Lost Galaxy showed up, which I never really watched as a kid because it was a little bit too scary for me. And then Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue showed up, which was great. It wasn't Power Rangers in space. Then they started advertising the next season of Power Rangers, which was Power Rangers Time Force. And by that point, I'd had enough. Like, at the time when you were making a show called Power Rangers Time Force, you've really run out of ideas, I felt. So I and my brother Alex sent letters into Fox Kids asking them to bring back Power Rangers in space instead of doing Power Rangers Time Force. Because we loved that cast. We loved that show. We loved the Astro Mega Ship. It was one of my fondest childhood desires was to have a tube that I could jump into that would turn me into a laser and would send me wherever I wanted to go. It was like a jungle gym.
His fondest dreams, let's be honest.
It was like a jungle gym in a spaceship. It was like the Millennium Falcon, except you could jump into a tube and come out on a surfboard.
Okay. But me, on the other hand, I watched a lot of Toonami. I watched a lot of Yu Yu Hakusho was my favorite Toonami show ever. And I watched Rurouni Kenshin and Sailor Moon and Thundercats and all this stuff. And I loved Scooby-Doo and all the old stuff. I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid. But if we're talking like early kid, like childhood, then I'd have to say probably Pappy Druid or Reading Rainbow. I don't think it was called Pappy Druid though. I don't remember what
I think it was. You showed it to me.
I don't remember. It's still on YouTube somewhere. I doubt anyone knows what it is because I think I was Lincoln who actually watched it. But it was this like drawing art show with this old man who wasn't actually an old man. Like the actor wasn't old, but he was playing. I don't know. It was weird. It was basically one.
It's a very odd show. Look it up on YouTube. It's amazing.
It's wonderful. And Reading Rainbow because I always like reading. Oh, they took a comfy couch too. I forgot that one. And Bananas in Pajamas. God, there were so many good kid shows.
There was one kid show that was my favorite until it betrayed me. So I was this little kid and just learning about the world, so innocent in my thinking.
No, it's true.
And that hasn't changed. So we're watching. So I used to watch a show called The Puzzle Place.
Puzzle Place.
The point of the show, it was another puppet show, just like Sesame Street, and the point of it was to teach kids about how different cultures and different people can all get along, which is a fine thing to teach kids. But in one episode, there was a character who told what I believe was either a Native American or an African legend about how the moon was placed in the sky. And because they didn't tell it like this is a legend or this is a story, they said this is how the moon goes up in the sky. And I was a stupid kid. I had been trained by Sesame Street to believe everything that a puppet told me. And so I believed wholeheartedly that how the moon got put up in the sky was that an old man who was in love with a woman who had gone up to the stars pushed the moon up a hill and got it up into the sky and became the moon. I think that was the story he told. I don't even remember. But I was so proud of the knowledge I had gained that I went and told my mother, who is a Christian
and a teacher,
traditional Christian teacher, and so I'm telling her, and that's how the moon was made. And she's like, no, it wasn't. The puppets told me. The puppets never lie, Mother.
Nothing has changed. Not a thing. But while you're talking, I remembered another really good show. Wishbone. Do you remember Wishbone?
Yeah.
Wishbone was the thing.
Every time I tuned into Wishbone, they were doing a scary story.
Best.
And so Wishbone scared the crap out of me, and I was a very sensitive child. And I never quite got into it.
But if we're going to go into early 2000s, then Courage the Cowardly Dog. that show is amazing.
A lot of people still consider that 90s.
I don't think it is though.
I don't think it is, but a lot of people still consider it 90s.
I love that show. And Admiral Monsters and Angry Beavers. Oh my god, there were so many good shows. And of course, Hey Arnold and all those.
My sister was born in the 90s, but all of her conscious memories are from the early 2000s. She's a millennial, but she considers herself a 90s kid.
You can't.
And spends all of her time, she spends all of her time in the 90s. Like, she's collected Boy Meets World on DVD. She has all of the boy bands on CD. None of these shows did she ever watch on TV when they were on. None of these songs. And so I appreciate that she enjoys them. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, you're not a true believer. You weren't there to suffer.
Now walk the plank.
Now walk the plank, me hearties. I don't know why this is my 90s kid voice, but I'm going to do the rest of the video like this.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Alarm. Tsunami integrity has been breached. Scanning for virus. Viral entity identified. Joker. Viral